Welcome to Promo Insiders, an ASI media podcast that covers the topics that matter most to the promotional products industry. I'm CJ Mitica, editor-in-chief of ASI Media, and today I'm joined by Steve Ehlert, National General Manager of Arch Promo Group. Today we're discussing the company's recent run of acquisitions, what prompted it, and what's next. We'll find out today. Steve, thank you for joining us.
Good morning, and thanks for having me.
So, you guys have been very active with recent acquisitions, acquiring Stromberg and Drumline in the past couple months, and unveiling the Arch promo name this year. So, for our listeners, for our viewers, I mean, what prompted this run of activity, and where did this Arch promo group idea come from?
Well, it is our objective to grow market share within the promotional products industry, and we see that there's a lot of opportunity. We are owned by a holding company in St. Louis, and for that we have we have a team that is actively looking for opportunities. And quite honestly, at some point, it's just a matter of you get a string of good luck and good opportunities fall into your lap. Um, the last three, including Pro Rose. So in 2022, we had Pro Rose in Stamford, Connecticut, that was acquired in January. We had Drumline in Arkansas that was acquired in May. And then recently in July, we just had the acquisition of the Stromberg Umbrella Company up in New York. So it's just a matter of the opportunities have been there. The deals usually come together fairly quick. And it's just a matter of us being able to take advantage of the opportunities that are there. Certainly make sure it is a good fit on any of these acquisitions, not only for ourselves, but obviously, we keep the legacy of the family in mind as well. We don't want to acquire their company and immediately make changes. So, I mean, it's just been being able to find the right opportunities at the right time and jumping when they're there.
So where do you see Arch in the marketplace? You have all these different suppliers now, different product lines, different brands. So where do you see Arch fitting in for what distributors are looking for?
Yeah, I mean, the big thing with Arch, to make sure that we properly explain what our goals are. Our goal is to continue to run all of these facilities independently. They have local decision makers that can quickly react to opportunities, to issues, and basically we're here kind of to oversee and be able to give them the tools needed to succeed. So as our objective within the promotional product marketplace, excuse me, it's just to be able to continue to like I said, operate them individually, let them maintain their brand identity. Some of the the companies that are doing the same thing as us rebrand them all under their name. The individual divisions get to keep their identity. It's our goal to we don't want to do anything to interfere with the successful name and brand recognition that these locations have.
It's an interesting decision. I've seen it happen both ways in our industry in the time that I've been in it for now, almost 15 years, where some companies like to, when they make an acquisition, bring it under their brand name and sort of bring them into the fold. But I've also seen other ways, as Arch is doing, is to let these suppliers stand on their own with their established brand identity. What led you to go with that decision to keep sort of the identity that's already been in place with the companies you're acquiring?
Well, our objective is to maintain the legacy that these companies have. As part of our closing strategy, we always want to know who is going to operate the business moving forward. We don't have a team of managers that we can just go and drop in at these locations. So our goal is obviously to keep the key personnel. Stromberg, we still have two of the Stromberg family members that are going to continue to work with us. At Drumline, we have Amberly Barnes, who is the daughter of Dennis and Nelda when they sold. it's our objective to keep the good people in place, and be able for them to continue to operate with as little interruption from me as possible.
So I want to take a step backwards. We were talking about how the Arch name was just unveiled this year, and that there's a holding company that's making these acquisitions. So where did this all get started? What was sort of the original start of this company that's now become Arch Promo Group?
Yeah, we are a subsidiary of Confluent Holdings, which was started in 2015 in St. Louis. And we're not the only division that they have. They also have another division that is similar to us. They are in the tool and die and the paper, so there's kind of similar operations. And certainly the holding company looks to expand and continue to expand. So Gemini was one of the early acquisitions. We were in 2016 after Confluent started in 2015. And then since then, we've, 2017, we acquired F&H Ribbon, which was brought in as part of Gemini Industries. Poor timing, we acquired TK Sorgs in November of 2019, right before COVID began, which, unfortunately we managed our way through. And then, like I said, we've had the 3 acquisitions in 2022, starting with Pro Rose, moving on to Drumline, and now the Stromberg Umbrella Company. So we will continue to be the holding company. They kind of give me the green light to manage this as we see most fit, to be most responsive. It is a very a small group, a family-run, high ethics company that I work for, and that's the attitude that we want to carry into the facilities.
What types of companies does Arch look for?
Ultimately, we're not looking to expand in any one product category. We're not looking to dominate the cup and napkin segment or the umbrella segment. Certainly we would like to eventually grow those if the right opportunities are there, but ultimately we're looking for, we have a solid, stable growth strategy. We want, stable companies. We're not looking for the next flashy thing. We're just looking for stable companies that we can build and continue to grow.
And conversely, what does Arch offer that is a compelling proposition for these established industry suppliers?
The one thing that we have started is with many of these smaller, as we all know, it's a challenge to run a small business nowadays. From everything from inflation to staffing to supplier issues, all of these things are factoring in, and just having the network of other general managers that the locations can reach out to and look for guidance, as well as coming to our support as well. The big thing is when we actually had our first introductory, we don't really have a brand for it, but if you look at it, a family chat where we get all the general managers onto a call and they're able to openly communicate and ask, how are you handling your, staffing issues or vendor issues, and just having a sounding board for the general managers to be able to run ideas by the rest of the group is very rewarding for them. Not everybody has the greatest idea, and we all have ideas that we want to try and see how well they work. Well, now we have a group of facilities that if you want to try something new in marketing or try a new policy, you have other people who have already done it that can say, it worked well or it didn't work at all, and and they can talk through it. And there's a real benefit of having that, that team environment where they can share ideas, and rather to recreate every new idea, they can ask the other guys what they're doing that works and what doesn't. At the end of the day, the facilities are, responsible for growth, maintaining staffing, which is the big thing nowadays. Certainly, we're here as we, acquire the smaller companies. We're now able to, offer them certain benefits and reward the longevity of the employees, and certainly help in recruiting as well.
That you bring up something that's been a hot button issue, which is staffing, hiring. It's been a huge pain point for suppliers. We just released data from our State of the Industry report that shows us how difficult it's been. What has Arch been able to do to address that issue, to keep employees, to find good ones, so that they can, so that all your companies can help distributors?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the big thing that we've been able to bring, which has certainly helped in the recent acquisitions, is being now able to offer benefits in a more stable working environment for, employees. And that is becoming more and more important. In all honesty, more important than, being able to pay people a higher wage is being able to treat them with respect, know that they have an input to the success of the company, and being able to offer them everything from, health and medical insurance, and, proper vacations and 401ks, and the benefits that people expect. And those are the types of things that are, helping us retain the employees that we have, and certainly recruit a higher quality of employee moving forward.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Talking to distributors, the most common complaints we hear right now is that there's at least a lot of frustration with suppliers as it relates to inventory availability and supply chain, obviously, and reliability, and certainly as it ties into good customer service. What have you done as a company to address these issues and to be there for your distributor customers?
Well, the important thing for us is to maintain an American-made product. Most of our products that we sell, we're bringing in raw inventory. We're not bringing in finished goods and just embellishing them. We certainly do a very small percentage of the business is imported products from overseas. We try to minimize that, but we also, the business that we do import, we go out of our way to make sure we have very good relationships with our suppliers. It's always advantageous when you're able to pay your vendors on time. You're going to get more responsive service. Obviously at the drumline division, there's a huge shortage of paper available in the market, and being able to have good solid relationships with our suppliers will always help in the long run. As I stated, we're proud to be American made on almost everything that we do. We've got facilities that are, operated as a union facility, which, certainly allows us to bring in more business as well. But the big thing is being able to, have the policies in place where you're managing your inventory. And when you have those issues where you can't get certain products, being able to offer an alternative to the distributors, being able to work with them. And, it's unfortunate when somebody wants a specific item if it's not available, but if it isn't available, what can we do for them to be able to offer options and openly communicate throughout the process so that they know. The worst thing we can ever do is tell a customer a job's going to ship, and then, a week after it was supposed to go, tell them, hey, by the way, our inventory never came in. We're no different than anybody else. None of us are perfect, but our goal certainly is to openly communicate any delays and do everything we can to get them, like I said, if they can't have exactly what they want, let's give something, very close or better at the same price when that's an option.
I want to follow up on the Made in USA point. We've seen at ASI and Counselor historically, clients, distributors have expressed a desire for Made in USA, but have always sort of hesitated because of increased price. They haven't always followed through on what they said. But it seems like since the pandemic started, there's been maybe a shift in that conversation. I'm curious, what's been your perspective? How do you see distributors and end buyers approaching Made in USA right now?
Well, I mean, obviously there's a push to get everything made in the USA, and a lot of that is probably predicated more on frustrations of, delays receiving inventory from overseas. We hear all the stories about the ports. You just hear, issues with that goes. Currently, I mean, availability of inventory it's actually starting to revert back a little bit. From the standpoint, people are more concerned about being able to get their product than what they are about, it's not always, required that it's made in the USA, but we will always continue to push that. That is certainly our objective. If we have an American option for a raw material that we need, we're going to go that direction. The counterpoint to that is, as the import fees and tariffs and just the simple cost of getting a container from overseas, as those rises have escalated, as the delays in shipments have increased, it's just becoming a much easier sales tool to say that, we're getting our products from the United States. We know the availability is there. We're not going to, have to wait 2 months for a container to come overseas. Anything can get shipped across the country in a matter of days. So any opportunity we have to push the American products, we will always do that.
Okay, fantastic. I want to ask about consolidation. It's definitely been a defined trend in our industry. We've seen it on both the distributor and the supplier side, though there's been ebb and flows. The pandemic certainly had an effect on it in 2020, but we've seen now that sort of put that in that post-pandemic phase, companies are eager to start buying it again. So as sort of a broad view of consolidation, where do you see it in the promotional products industry?
As I mentioned a little bit earlier, it's getting more and more challenging to run a small business. A lot of the comments we hear from, the sellers are, it's just getting more and more difficult. It's just with, the regulations, you know, everything involved with running a small business is more difficult. So we look at, the opportunity for smaller companies that want to be part of a bigger group that, can have somebody else take over the regulations and deal with that and make sure we're monitoring and doing everything not only ethically and legally, but, the proper way of doing it. There's just a lot of opportunity to, take some of that burden off these smaller companies. Obviously, we have a very structured accounting system where that takes a lot of the day-to-day headaches away from, these small companies. They're not having to be the ones that are dealing with the cash flow issues and everything else. So there is always a benefit to being a part of a larger group and a larger organization. Even though we operate them individually, we do still bring a lot of advantages to them that certainly we can take a lot of the headaches of running the business. We can kind of make those go away and take care of some of those for them, so that the individual locations can truly concentrate on doing what's in the best interest of the customers and their employees, and get back to the way these businesses all started. They all start with the goal of, we want to be good at what we do. We want to do the right thing. We want to be sustainable. We want to, you're taking all of these perspectives and trying to meld them into your operation. And we're able to, eliminate some of their headaches and allow them to get back to what it is they really want to do. And that's ultimately to take care of their customers.
Makes sense. So you've already been a very busy 2022. Are you just taking the rest of the year off? But what's the goal for Arch Promo for the rest of this year and beyond?
I honestly do not expect us to be done. Just the buzz of when we acquired Stromberg, it was announced the morning that ASI Chicago started. And by the end of the second day, we had 3 additional companies that approached us to begin discussions. As we all know, some of those are successful and some of them aren't. It's being able to find the right fits. But we do certainly intend to continue our goal of acquiring 2 to 3 new facilities on an annual basis, as long as it's sustainable. We don't want to get too big to the point that, you know, we lose track of what our goals and objectives are. But, you know, when we find the right opportunities, we want to make sure we're there to offer the sellers an opportunity to, in all honesty, politely, peacefully be able to move on to the next stage of their life, knowing that their employees and their legacy is being maintained and reinforced. And that will always be very important to us, that we don't try to change the identity. You know, if we acquire a successful company, there's no reason for us to go in to try to change it. Just offer them all the support we can, and, you know, let them move forward and continue the success that they have.
Okay, well, fantastic. Well, Arch Promo has been making some waves this year in the promo industry, and looks like plans to make some more. So just want to say good luck the rest of the way, and we'll be watching for some future moves.
All right, we appreciate it, and thanks for your time today, CJ.
All right, thank you, Steve, and thank you everybody for watching and listening to Promo Insiders. Have a great day.